Hi everyone, my name is Mary Ann P. Lumang, a third-year criminology student, Section C. Crimes under different titles. Title 1, Crimes against National Security and Law of Nations. Title 2, Crimes against the Fundamental Laws of State. Title 3, Crimes against Public Order. Title 4, Crimes against Public Interest. Title 5, Crimes relative to opium and other prohibited drugs. Title 6, Crimes against Public Morals. Title 7, Crimes committed by public officers. Title 8, Crimes against Persons. Title 9, Crimes against Personal Liberty and Security. Title 10, Crimes against Property. Title 11, Crimes against Chastity. Title 12, Crimes against Civil Status of Persons. Title 13, Crimes against Honor. Title 14, Quasi-Offenses. Title 15, Final Provisions. Title 1, Crimes against National Security in the Law of Nations. Ito ay yung mga crimes na nasa ilalim ng title na ito. Article 114, Treason. Article 115, Conspiracy and Proposal to Commit Treason. Article 116, Misprision of Treason. Article 117, Espionage. Article 118, Inciting to war or giving motives of reprisals. Article 119, Violations of neutrality. Article 120, Correspondence with hostile country. Article 121, Flight to enemy country. Article 122, Piracy in general and mutiny on the high seas. Article 123, Qualified piracy. Article 114, Treason. Any person who owning allegiance to the United States or the government of the Philippine Islands, not being a foreigner, levies war against them or had hires to their enemies, giving them aid or comfort within the Philippine Islands or elsewhere, shall be punished by reclusion temporal to death and shall pay a fine not to exceed 20,000 pesos. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of two witnesses, at least to the same overt act or on confession of the accused in open court. Likewise, an alien residing in the Philippine Islands who commits acts of treason as defined in Article 1 of this article shall be punishable by prison mayor to death and shall pay a fine not to exceed 20,000 pesos as amended by EO number 44, May 31, 1945. Elements of treason. Number 1, that the offender is a Filipino citizen or an alien residing in the Philippines. Number 2, that there is a war in which the Philippines is involved. Number 3, that the offender either A, levies war against the government, or B, adheres to the enemies giving them aid or comfort. Unang element, ang offender o may sala ay pwedeng mamamayang Pilipino, isang dayuhan na naninirahan dito sa Pilipinas. Pangalawang element, dapat may giyera na ang Pilipinas ay isa sa mga kasali ng giyera na iyon. Pangatlong element, ang offender o may sala ay A, nagkumpol-kumpol o nagtitipon-tipon para magyera sa gobyerno ng Pilipinas o di kaya ito ay ginawa niya. Letter B, kumampi sa kalaban sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay ng ayuda o kaginhawaan. Treason, defined. Treason is a breach of allegiance to a government committed by a person who owes allegiance to it. 63 CG 814. Ang treason o pagtataksil ay isang pagsira ng katapatan sa gobyerno na ginawa ng isang tao na may katungkulan maging tapat sa kanyang gobyerno. Allegiance defined. By the term allegiance, is meant that obligation of fidelity and obedience which the individuals owe to the government under which they live or to their sovereign in return to the protection they receive. 52 AM Jor 797. Ang allegiance o katapatan ay isang obligasyon na pagiging matabat at masunurin sa pagkakautang ng bawat isa sa kanyang gobyerno na sa ilalim nito sila pinoprotektahan. Treason cannot be committed in time of peace. Ang ibig sabihin nito, kahit ang ginawa ng isang Pilipino o dayuhan na naninirahan dito sa Pilipinas ay pagtataksil sa gobyerno, hindi ito matatawag na treason kung wala namang giyera o digmaan sa ibang bansa na ang Pilipinas ay kasali. Two ways of modes of committing treason. Number 1, by levying was against the government. Number 2, by adhering to the enemies of the Philippines, giving them aid or comfort. Meaning of levy's war. Levying war requires the concurrence of two things. Number 1, that there be an actual assembling of men. And number 2, for the purpose of executing a reasonable design by force. The war must be directed against the government. Requirements of the second ways or mode of committing treason. In the second way or mode of committing treason, number 1, adhere, and number 2, giving aid or comfort to the enemy must concur together. Adherence alone without giving aid or comfort to the enemy is not sufficient to constitute treason. Conversely, aid or comfort alone without adherence is not treason. Treason by Filipino citizens can be committed outside of the Philippines. Treason by an alien must be committed in the Philippines. Ways of proving treason. A person may be convicted of treason on any of the following evidence only. Number 1, testimony of two witnesses, at least two the same overact. And number 2, confession of the accused in open court.